After we've created the schedule and applied resource uncertainty and duration uncertainty, applied correlation, it's time to look at how risk will impact the schedule. There's two ways to apply risk to a schedule: through risk factors or through risk events. A risk event is something that may or may not happen that affects the project. A risk event has a certain probability, a likelihood of happening, and a certain impact that it will have on activities within your project. A risk factor is an unknown element that affects your project or could affect your project and is expressed in a percentage. Here you see the differences between risk events and risk factors. For instance, if you look at this first one, waves higher than 3 meters during offshore construction. All offshore activities delayed by 3 days. This is a specific event. You could also apply the same risk in the form of a risk factor. You can create a weather factor and that says all offshore activities up to 20% longer. So let's see how we can create this in Primavera Risk Analysis. Here we have our schedule. To apply risk factors to this schedule, we'll go to the risk menu and then scroll down to risk factors. And we'll choose edit. Right now there's no risk factors defined, so we're going to create them. So let's say I'm going to create a risk factor called weather. And this risk factor will impact my duration 90%, 100%, 120%. And the cost will be 90%, 100%, and a maximum of 120%. My likelihood, I'm going to set that at 60%. And hit OK. I've created the risk factor, and now I need to assign them to my project. So go back, risk factor, assign. The window that opens will display your latest or your last selected task. So in this case, task number 140, project manager, is the one that's selected last. And with previous and next, you can basically scroll back to the start of your project. And we'll just say the following tasks are impacted by weather: site prep, excavation, install underground water lines, and install underground electrical conduit. Hit OK. So we still have no visual indication that these risk factors have been applied. There's a way to show them. If you go down, see all these tabs, we're just going to insert another tab. So if we right-click on this tab and go to Insert or scroll down, we can see risk factors. So we're just going to add that tab. And here you see my 3 risks, and you see that risk number 1 or risk factor number 1 has been applied to these 3 tasks. So if we run the simulation at this point, let's step through this. And our deterministic value is 486,125, and which has a probability of 17%. Next, we're going to be looking at how to apply risk events to a schedule. We go back to the risk menu and open up the risk register. And as you can see, I've already created 3 risks. The first step is to verify and look at your risk scoring matrix. So we're going to edit risk scoring. And these settings will be applied whenever we run a simulation. So for this project, I've determined that a impact of cost is considered very high when it's more than 75,000. It's high when it's more than 50, medium more than 30, low more than 10, and very low less than 10. And here it shows the impacts in days. Now, this risk scoring matrix is important because when you and your team determine probability and impact in your qualitative risk analysis, this guides you to determine what is considered high, medium, and low. So besides changing these values, and I advise you to start from very high and work your way backwards, you can change the color coding of your risk scoring matrix here. So you could say, well, anything that's red needs senior management approval before we can continue. Anything in yellow, we want to try everything within reason to try to get it back to green. And you might say green is anything, the risk that we will look at a later stage. We'll first focus on the red and the yellow ones. So for now, I'm just going to leave this as is and hit OK. Now, some of you, when you open this for the first time, you'll have a lot more information shown here. I have chosen just to show information I want to see. To change the view on the number of columns, you go to View, Columns, select Custom. And here you basically select anything you want to see or you don't want to see. So I've unselected basically all of this down to here, just to keep it more manageable for me. So I'm just going to show you how to create a risk. So a risk considered a threat, just type in T for threat. I'm just going to call this risk number D. And now you and your team determine in the pre-mitigated situation, what's the probability of this risk happening? And when it happens, what is our schedule and cost impact? Keeping in mind the risk scoring matrix that we just set, that we set here. Yeah, so this will determine in which bucket this risk will fall. So let's assume for this risk that the probability is medium, that the schedule impact is high, and that the cost impact is going to be medium. The system will automatically calculate the risk score based on this information. So in this case, it's yellow risk score 20. By default, it will choose a response strategy of accept. In our case, we don't find 20 acceptable, so I'm going to change the strategy to reduce. Now, it doesn't really explain how we're going to reduce this risk. And to give further detail on how and when we're going to take action steps to reduce this risk, we can go down here to the Mitigation tab and say, use detailed actions. So I might agree with my team that we're going to perform task 1, and I can change start and finish date of this task 1 when it's going to happen. And since the project hasn't started yet, I'm going to say, well, that this mitigation step is going to cost $7,500. Next, I have to determine, well, if I take this task 1 step, what does it do with the risk? And you and your team might say, well, if we do this step, it will drop the schedule down to medium, but the cost will remain medium. There might be a next step where you say, well, we have also test number 2. And test number 2 is going to cost us $5,000. But after we take this step, they both schedule and cost will drop down to low. And you see now that my final risk score is gone from 20 to 5, and I'm spending $12,500 to mitigate this risk. Now, obviously, you need to determine with your team whether it makes sense to spend $12,500 to go from a score 20 to a score 5. So once you have determined your pre-mitigated situation and your post-mitigated situation from a qualitative perspective, we can actually now assign these risks to the schedule and run our simulation. So to do this, we'll go to the quantitative tab, and in the pre-mitigated situation, we can say, well, we have 4 risks. And right now, these risk number A is been linked to these 3 tasks. Risk number B can happen with a 60% probability in these 2 tasks. Risk number C on these 2 tasks. And then risk number D, the one that we made just a minute ago, has not been assigned. So if I assign this risk, let's say, to site prep, you see now it's linked to site prep, and based on my risk scoring matrix, it will determine that if this risk happens, this will be the impact. It has a triangular distribution between 20 and 40 days schedule impact, and a cost impact of between 30 and 50,000 with a likely of 40. If I would assign this risk to multiple tasks, the total risk amount stays the same, and it's going to be divided over these 2 activities. The rationale behind this is if the risk happens in one activity, it's not likely to happen in another. Now you can change that setting that if a risk happens, it can happen multiple times with the same total effect. But for now, we'll just leave it as an effect that's going to be spread out over the number of activities it's going to be applied to. Now, sometimes, go back to activity A, sometimes you'll say, well, these activities, yes, risk A can happen, but the effect is not going to be the same on all of these 3 tasks. If that is the case, you'll have to select quantified and then change these values to whatever you feel is real. For now, I'm just going to leave them as is. So this is my pre-mitigated situation, and then based on my post-mitigated situation, the probabilities will change and the values will change because my risk scoring in my post-mitigated situation is obviously a lot less. So these are the effects that a simulation will put on the post-mitigated schedule. And these risks will be applied to the pre-mitigated schedule. When we run the analysis, we can look at pre-mitigated situation and post-mitigated situation and determine how much money we have saved by applying risk management.